All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar tonight. Our webinar tonight is for design science. It's our alumni webinar. So thank you again for joining. I am Alicia Markey. I'm the recruiter for our design science program. I'm sure you probably already know me and have gotten my email, so thank you. And we'll have our alumni introduce himself in a minute. We'll also cover our design science program, which I think our alum Peter will probably cover too. We'll open it up for any questions and answers that anyone may have, and I have questions ready too, so get ready, Peter. And then we'll cover application deadlines, what's required to apply, as our deadline is actually this Saturday coming up here. And then contact information in case you have any questions that come up after the webinar. So I'm going to turn it over to our esteemed alum. Peter, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is Peter Wacnik. I graduated undergrad from Michigan with a degree in mechanical engineering in 2022, and then finished my master's in design science in 2023. And so right now, I am working at Ford Motor Company in their Ford College Graduate Rotational Program. So it's a 2-year rotational program where you go to 4 different roles, about 6 months at each role. So I'm currently just started my last role, and then I'll offboard into a full-time role in about mid-July. Um, and I guess to run through those rotations quick, the first one I worked on program management with the Bronco. And then I had a rotation in the human-centered design organization, and then had another program management rotation with the Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator, launching the 2025 model year. So was down in the plant in Louisville for about 8 months doing that, and then just started now working on um, IPs and consoles as a design and release engineer. Um, so that's where I'm at now.
Cool. I see your photos here. Very fun, it looks like.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
then
fun to drive all the different trucks and cars and whatnot.
it looks very nice. And are the ones on the right side from design science degree?
Yes. So that one on the, I should add a little comment on there, but the one on the top is from my senior year capstone for which was with Professor Cienko. We worked to redesign crash barriers for low and middle income countries. And actually were able to talk to some experts in Ghana and Ethiopia about that, which is pretty cool. And then the bottom one is we called it Soulmate. So it was a way to make it easier for students and mainly student athletes with injuries to travel around campus because it's if you got a boot on, it's not really a conducive environment to walk into and from class. So that was the intent was like a kind of waterproof almost sock that would be anti-slip and keep your foot dry and allow you to better get to and from class.
Hope that one's like actually come to fruition.
Well, what?
Soulmate. I hope that that's actually being used because I know that that's a huge problem
Yes, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it did not take off out of the class, I don't think, but
due to them. Very cool stuff. Well, I have just a few questions for you while we're waiting to see if there are any questions from any attendees. But the first question I have for you is, what made you choose the design science program? Because there's so many different programs at the University of Michigan. What kind of drew you to design science specifically?
so there were mainly two things that drew me to design science. I'd say the first was I took a front-end design course my senior year of mechanical engineering, which was really looking at kind of ideation in design and how to involve users in design and like interviews, surveys, how to really get input so you make sure that you're solving the right problem. And so that was sort of a eye-opening course for me. and I became really, really passionate about it because I love learning about people and really solving the problems that matter to people the most because there are a lot of um, that a lot of people don't do that. And it's sort of I think it's the classic Jurassic Park line, like nobody stopped to think if they should, which really resonated with me and really involving people in the process. So that was one aspect of it. And I saw a lot of similarities between that course and design science. I think a lot of students, if they haven't taken that course, do take that course in design science. And then the second one that inspired me to choose design science was actually interviewing for jobs senior year. I had a phone screening with SpaceX, did not go well. And then right after that, I saw the Canvas notification like, hey, here's a master's in design science, human-centered design. And I was like, huh, none of these jobs seem like something I'd want to do. So I'll take a look into design science. And turned out it was a great choice.
I like hearing that. So, could you talk about, do you remember, I know it's been a bit, but do you have a specific favorite course? I know you brought up those two that like brought you into design science, but do you remember when you're in the degree, like your favorite course that you took or courses that really like stood out to you?
Yeah, I think I took one called I think it was Theories of Social Influence, which was in the School of Information and wholly unrelated to like pure engineering, really. But it was kind of looking at how people are influenced by society and the other people around them, which is really, really informative when you're looking at like the true needs of people and involving people in the process and how to design for people. So understanding where people are influenced from, how are those influences, I guess like the strength of them. That was really interesting to me and something that I never would have gotten in like a mechanical engineering degree. So there's a little more of a psychology twist, I guess, to it. And that was really nice to have that flexibility to kind of go take those courses. Trying to think of another one. I know I did really enjoy I think 501 with the product design with Soulmate. 'Cause that was cool to have a be able to go through almost the entire design process from conception to actually having a business plan and where would we source these materials, and those uh, cool to see and definitely helpful for a career.
Well, we've heard that from other design science alums that they really liked the product development part of it. The design science program specifically is so nice because you can take courses from, as you said, like engineering courses, but also courses from all across the university too. So you were able to take, like you said, kind of psychology courses, or you could take business courses. So it's really very broad, the different courses that you can kind of pick and choose from. So I think that that's so nice that you got to experience that in the program. What do you think that you enjoyed most about the program? Was it the curriculum, like that you could take those different courses, or working on those products, or working with your cohort? What was like your favorite part of the program?
Yeah, kind of among other things, everything you mentioned. So like I said, coming out, I didn't find jobs that I was passionate about. And then when I found design science, and I had one of the first, like in the first month or two, I'd realized that it just like was a really good match for me, and really fit my passion and my interest coming out of undergrad, and gave me an opportunity to really get kind of dedicated almost training in that area, because there's only a limited amount of courses you can kind of take like that in undergrad. And so I was able to kind of add on that extra year and a half, and then get a true, like, go real in depth into something I was passionate about. Um, and also the diversity of ideas and people in the program was really great because um, it's just you get a lot of perspectives, different perspectives that you wouldn't otherwise. Um, and like there's a lot of diversity of ideas and people in mechanical engineering too, but it's just not as it's not you don't feel it as much because the courses aren't as conducive to it. And so having like seminars in design science or you're with the same cohort for many of your courses, and you can kind of like I know I took one semester with the like one or two classmates. We had almost the same courses, so we were able to kind of experience together and have a diverse perspective on all of it, and discuss it at the same time. Um, I like the flexibility of the coursework, the breadth that I was able to get from it, and just the all the different classes you could take. And then personally, an extra year in Ann Arbor is never a bad thing. So enjoyed that. Got to see, I think it was in Ann Arbor. Got to see us beat Ohio State again. That was great, um, as always. And then professionally, I was able to pursue research and coursework at the same time. And so that was another benefit because I was considering doing a PhD, and so kind of wanted to get some experience in the research world. And so I was able to do that while at the same time having my coursework and wasn't overloaded. So I was able to get that experience and be able to have I think a couple papers, hopefully another one sometime soon. Um, but then inform my own personal choice in my career path. So
No, that's so nice too that you brought up the cohort because the design science program has one of the most tight-knit, I think, cohorts that I've seen because all of the students start in the fall semester. So you all come in together. It's usually a very small cohort, which I mean, I like small, but it's a small cohort, so you get to really know each other. And because the program isn't necessarily an engineering specific degree, a lot of the students don't have to come from an engineering background. A lot of students do, of course, come from engineering background, but there are like art students that can come in the program, psychology students. So it's a really broad background that enter the program. So, like you said, you'll get very different kind of perspectives from your fellow students. And so it makes for very interesting conversations and perspectives that you'll have than just, I think, coming from all one background of like, hard sciences or engineering. So I really think that that is unique for the design science program. So I'm glad that you found that too. So, because I like to believe that for a design science program. So I'm glad that's true.
yeah, definitely is true.
Oh, great. We have a question from Helen. So I heard you mentioned you would like to continue on to a PhD. Do you mind sharing a bit more on that? I'm actually thinking about applying for design science PhD this fall.
Yeah. So I I was considering doing a PhD. I applied to the PhD after the master's, and then I had a ended up having a PhD offer and a board offer in each hand, and decided to go with the Ford offer. So I'm not personally no longer going to pursue the PhD, but that was a good experience to apply for it, and then the research too was really really interesting stuff. I oh, it's on the slide. There's investigating participatory design in engineering, with the I guess with the future long-term goal for the professors of investigating participatory design in the design of nuclear reactors, which is a really kind of interesting area to apply that. Um, but I know I'm not sure how it works now, but I know sometimes like I could do the master's and then kind of have I don't know, a leg up on my PhD, so I could start off already having written a literature review for the PhD. And so I did the master's first because that gave me that flexibility. Um, but I know there are plenty of design science PhDs who would probably be able to speak better to the application process and the experience.
So a lot of our students do the master's program, and then while they're doing the master's apply to the PhD program because a lot of times they're just enjoying the master's so much that they want to continue on and do their doctoral degree. Or some students are already doing a master somewhere else and then find this doctoral program and then apply for it. So it just depends on how the students go about finding it. It does sometimes seem that master students that are already in the program already are working with faculty members. And so sometimes finding funding for the doctoral program is easier because you're already working with faculty on research in your master's. So then going to the doctoral program sometimes is easier because you're already working with the faculty. So then they're able to do funding for your doctoral program because you're already working with them. Because the doctoral program is fully funded, unlike the master's program. And so to do the doctoral program, you have to make sure that you have your committee kind of like well established when you're looking to apply. So looking for faculty members that are looking to take on researchers and are able to fund you in the program. Oh, okay. So Helen gave some context. I'm a second year MSI master's. Would you recommend me to apply for the design science master first and get to PhD after 1 year or just apply straight this year? I think it would be useful if you looked at the design science curriculum for the master's program and see if it's what you're looking for or if it's what you'd be interested in. In fact, I'm going to pull that up. Let me stop sharing here. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I should have had this open. Okay, let me share. I'll put this in the chat too for everyone. So the curriculum is very choose your own adventure, I say. So it's very open-ended for both the master's and obviously the doctoral program. So some students like this and some students don't, because you'll see right here it says in the group B specialization courses, there's no required courses. And I don't know, Peter, if that was for you as well, but it's very open-ended there. So some students love this because it's just wide open, and then others are like, no, I want more help there of like options and give me a sample. So it can be stressful in that area, but if you scroll down on this page here, you'll see your group A, your core courses, and the required courses there. But then when you go down in the specialization courses, it does give you ideas and specific areas that may be of interest to you for the courses. And Helen, this is where I would suggest looking at and seeing if these are areas of interest that you would be looking for in a master's degree program that then would translate well into your doctoral degree. So, because I don't want you just to like get a master's just to like get a master's degree. But I know that, like I said, it is a nice way to transition into doctoral programs. So if this is something that you like see, you're like, oh, I really love doing business management and human behavior like work, and I would love to take these courses, and this is what I kind of want to build my doctoral research around. I think that that would make sense then to do the master's and then work with faculty and then find those faculty that could help you with funding the research and going to the doctoral. I think that that would make it a much more seamless transition to the doctoral degree, especially along the lines of the funding. And then I will add in the chat too the link to our design science PhD curriculum, which is much more open-ended because, of course, it's a doctoral program. And maybe Peter will come back and do that. I'm sure. No pressure, Peter. No. Great questions on that. And also, the deadlines for those programs are a little different too. So I'm gonna share my screen on the different deadlines for master's and doctoral. So the doctoral program deadline is in December. So that's passed, obviously. December 15th was the doctoral program deadline for PhD. The design science deadline is this Saturday, actually, for the master's program. It's March 15th. So still time, don't panic. I mean, Saturday, we still got time. But that is coming up, and you have to have a complete deadline application by the deadline of Saturday. Because the program is only available on campus, that's why the deadline is March 15th. So if you've seen other deadlines online, saying like August 15th or something like that, that's for our MN, Master of Engineering programs, and that's because there's an online component to those, but any on-campus programs, March 15th is the app deadline. So just to keep that in mind. When looking to apply, there is an application fee, unfortunately, and I don't have any application fee waivers. I wish I did, but it's 75 for domestic students, 90 for international students. Our minimum GPA is a 3.0, the average is a 3.5. You'll need 3 letters of recommendation. This can come from faculty members or supervisors and managers if you're working, or a combination of both. The GRE is not required. Your resume and your curriculum vitae, academic statement of purpose, and personal statements are the 2 written parts of the application. And then your official transcripts. And if you're an international student, those English proficiency exams are required as well. And now I want to get back to the questions I had for Peter, because I have some more, if that's all right. So another question I had for you, Peter, was how do you think your degree has impacted your career?
Yeah, I think it's still early in year two, but I think the huge benefit of it is I know you're talking about the flexibility. It makes you extremely adaptable in an industry environment, um, because you've had to go through, like, yes, it's in a controlled environment, the product design in design science, but you have had to go from the concept to the actual like sourcing and costing out this stuff. Um, I mean, doing some of the exact same stuff now, but it's just a much longer time to get through it all rather than just a semester. Um, but it kind of has allowed me to take that experience and then adapt it and apply it to each of the different rotations I'm in. And then I would imagine when I go to a full-time role, the different like the different milestones or timelines we have for launching vehicles. And then I think the I guess, second big thing would be it really teaches you empathy, which I think is absolutely invaluable in any industry because that's something that's I think sometimes lost in design processes. Um, like for example, there's a lot of politicking in larger companies, and so it helps to be able to take a step back and have a high level overview of a problem and understand where a person or a team is really coming from. I think a good example is like launching vehicles. You have to interact with the plant a lot, and changing stuff at the plant is not an easy process. Um, and so if you're coming in as an engineer, you're coming from Michigan, you've been designing this part for like 2 years, and then you're an expert in this part, you know everything about this part, but then the operator on the line is having difficulty installing it on the vehicle. Um, and they're asking you like, hey, I need help with this. And that's a problem that won't be solved effectively if you're not looking at it through an empathetic lens, because this operator has no idea. It's a new part. They've never seen it before. They've probably put it on maybe 10 vehicles. And so that's just something that I feel like design science kind of ingrained in me and taught me, and is, I think, a really important skill to have. And then the third thing, sort of along with that, but um, like I think design science has given me holistic a holistic view of like any problem or any project that I've done at the company, and been able to kind of look at it from those different viewpoints that I had taken courses in, like that psychology course, or the product design course, or any of the other ones that I took. They were all pretty different. And so being able to look at a problem through one of those different lenses can give you more creative or more effective or more out of the box solutions that could work better for a problem.
Good to hear. What advice would you give a new student starting this program?
I think if it sounds like something you're remotely interested in, I would say to do it. It's not for me. The It was kind of nice. Like it was only a year and a half. Sort of delayed my decision of what I wanted to do with my career. I'm like, sure, why not? And it turned out to be one of the better decisions I made as a 21, 22-year-old. Um, and so I, I think if you're interested in it, pursue it, go for it. Um, there's not many bad things that could happen doing it. Um, and then second would be to go through courses with an open mind. I think having being an engineer, I didn't want to stick to just engineering courses. That probably would have been where I was most comfortable, but I think getting out of your comfort zone and exploring different areas is a great way to leverage the flexibility of the design science degree and really give you that breadth of experience going into whatever you choose to do after the degree. I'd try out some research too. I think it's a good thing for everybody to try. Um, it's a very different world than internships or working at a company, and it's a good way to look at problems and attack them too. And then building connections with your cohort. That was something that I think, even though we were tight knit, we ended up, everybody at the end of our year said, oh, we should have gotten together sooner and started hanging out. So I think that's when I go for like happy hour trivia or something early on in the semester. We didn't do that soon enough my year. Um, and then lastly would be sure to know how to market the degree if you do pursue it. I know we kind of spent some time ourselves as a cohort trying to define what is design science. And I don't know if we ever got to one definition, but it's a it's a very adaptable degree in both its applicability and marketability. So just know how to market it when you're either looking for jobs or looking at other programs, and because many people don't know what you're talking about when you say design science. So being able to explain it a little bit and talk about how it's applicable to whatever job you're going for, I think is a really important thing too.
We've heard that a lot from our alums of just because it's not something you hear all the time, like design science, what that means. So defining it is really key. But when you do define it and explain it to recruiters, they really like it and they love what it like shows and how broad it can be, and yet how specific it is too. So we've seen that our alums do well when they have like that really honed in and perfect kind of elevator pitch to give to recruiters and showcase the skills that they have. So
Yeah, when I told one professor I'd accepted a job at Ford, she had told me, I was like, oh, I hear from those recruiters all the time. They're always saying, we don't know what you guys do, but you guys are great. So it's a yeah, it's important to be able to explain it, but also it's once you do, it's really valuable.
making us look good there, Peter. Make design science look good. I mean, you basically answered kind of my last question for you, which was, would you recommend this program to others? So I think you've kind of answered that, which is yes, I think.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, it was a great year and enjoyed the program, and then I think it also set me up really well for my career. So would
It's great to
definitely
hear.
recommend it.
That's good to hear. That's what we like to hear. Well, I just wanted to share again my contact information with all of you. So if you have any questions that come up, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you have any questions for Peter, email me, and I will reach out to Peter to see if he has time to take them because he is busy on that last rotation before he gets that real role there. So we don't want to bog him down, but I will reach out to see if he has time. But otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions. Feel free to email me, but I'm always happy to set up a Zoom or a phone call, whatever works best. But email is the easiest way to reach me. But I just want to thank Peter so much for joining us tonight and answering all these questions and just giving your time with us and giving back. We so appreciate it. And I found it so interesting and helpful. And I'm sure our prospective students do too. So thank you so much, Peter. And
Absolutely.
yes, thank you. And thank you all for joining. And as always, go blue.
Go blue.
Thank you.